Good morning. It's pretty good. I remember very much, was just thinking about it over here last year. That was a primary focus, finding our guy. It's one of the first thing after Kyle and I got together, and we talked about the culture we want to set and all that, but I think we both agreed you have to find that guy at that position. It's of such premium importance, and didn't happen in the draft process last year, but some fortuitous things kind of broke our way during the season, and I really commend Kyle for his patience once we got Jimmy and allowing him to take time to learn the system as best he could. Everybody was saying, play him. Hey, you traded for them. Let's play him. And he made sure that he was a spot where we were setting him up for success. And then he went in and as we like to say, he balled out. He played really well, and he made our team better. And then it became a focus. Let's get him locked up. And I think it was a deal that worked out for everyone. I think we're very appreciative to Jimmy and Don Yee and his team that we were able to do it so swiftly. I think that's a huge bonus for us that we have him locked up going into free agency. I think it makes it a place where a lot of people want to be, and we're excited about that.
Looking back, I think last year when you were here, you described not having a quarterback as liberating.
Well, we didn't have a quarterback on our roster at one point, and that, I'm always an optimist, and I was trying to be one there. But the idea was that we could shape it the way we wanted to, and we were able to do that. And I think what's even more liberating is having Jimmy under contract.
When did you first become interested?
Well, we had studied him. One of the things, Shireen, that Kyle and I did is we spent a lot of time when we first got there together. Tony Dungy was the guy who said the best thing you can do is close your door with Kyle and just watch film, and talk ball. And so we did that. And Kyle had a lot of tapes together at each position. This is what you're looking for. And some of the clips that were showing up, various guys at the quarterback position, but Jimmy was a guy. And so, I had broadcast some Patriots games and studied him a little bit, but that tape, I kept watching. I mean, the physical skills were noticeable, and his ability to quickly get rid of the ball efficiently and accurately and all those things. And so we started watching more. There wasn't a whole lot to watch, but what you watched you really liked, and it's well documented. And we don't like talking about it a whole lot, but we made some efforts right away to try to do something, and they were rebuffed quicker than I could ask, and so we kind of just moved on. And during the season, like I said, some things broke our way, and he became available.
What is it about Jimmy that you think is going to set him up for long-term success as opposed to flash?
Yeah, I think the physical traits. He can really quickly process and get rid of the football in a fashion that I would say is elite. But then you go to study the makeup of the guy, and the only way to do that is to see him around his teammates. And to me, the best leaders, the best quarterbacks, they make everyone around them better. And we watched our team. Now, I will say that it coincided with we had played a bunch of young guys. We had gone through just a brutal series of injuries. So it also coincided with young guys getting experience and us getting healthy as a team. But there's no mistaking that when he came in and started playing, it lifted our team, and it lifted everyone around him. And then just his makeup, his work ethic. He never left the facility. Yes, he was trying to learn a new system, and he needed to. But his diligence, the way his teammates just kind of liked being around him. He's one of the guys, even though he's not just one of the guys, that whole deal. We watched it, and it became clear in our minds that this is a guy we want to move forward with, and we're pleased that we've done it.
There are teams that go 20 years looking for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like you guys hit the lottery here. I mean, it's just fell in your laps almost.
Yeah, we also know that there's a lot that remains. The story's not yet written, and Jimmy knows that. That's one thing he's very cognizant of, that we got a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of work to do as a team. I think, Bill Parcells said it best: "You are what your record says you are." We were a 6-10 team. We were 1-5 in our division. Did we finish strong? Absolutely. I can tell you that in Tampa, when we were trying to turn it around, there were years we finished strong. That doesn't guarantee success the next year. So it's back to trying to improve our franchise in every way we can, and it's back to good old-fashioned hard work to make sure that we do carry the momentum that we had forward into next year.
Celebrate your is different, but what are some of those things that you can take from that finish that you feel like?
Well, you know, I think the most positive thing is we had a lot of young players. We were playing 15, 16 rookies throughout last year, and they performed really well. And they're guys that fit what we want to be about as an organization. And so watching that take place and watching that develop, that has us very excited. Are we still a work in progress? Absolutely. We still have work to do. You know, that's part of the great challenge, but we're very excited. We want to continue to improve our team through every vehicle and every, you know, that we're allowed, that free agency, re-signing our own guys. You know, we talk about Jimmy, you know, but K'Wan Williams was last year. Dan Kilgore, our center. Cassius Marsh is a guy who came to us midstream last year, and we got him redone. Gary Gilliam is a swing tackle that we just re-signed, and we want to keep that going. We want to reward our own players, and you know, so every means necessary and at our disposal we'll use to try to improve our team.
John, when you watch defensive backs nowadays, positional versatility is so important. How does that change your evaluation? How different is that than it was when you were a safety?
Yeah.
Look at a guy like Minka Fitzpatrick who plays
Yeah.
4 to 6 different
Right.
positions. How much is that evaluated paradigm shift that you
Yeah, it's all part of it. You know, the game's much more spread out. They throw the football much more. It's played much more in space. And so you better have players who can operate in space and who can do a number of different things. You know, Minka Fitzpatrick's a guy that is, you know, highly thought of, and we feel the same about him. But that versatility that he brings is something special. We drafted a kid, Adrian Colbert, last year. One of the things that drew us to him is that we knew he could play corner and we knew he could play safety. That kind of flexibility gives you a lot of options. We also knew at the least he was going to be a very effective special teams player. And so, yes, those things, versatility is always a good thing, and it's something I think everyone's looking for.
to a point where if you're a defensive back, you can only do one thing, you would better do that exceedingly well, or you're just
Yeah. I think that's always been the case, though. I think versatility's always been an important part of the game. I do think there is an element, though, the way the game's being played, that you have to be able to do a number of things very well.
What did you think of C.J. Beathard's performance as a rookie for you? And
Yeah.
what do you think his upside is to
Yeah.
not only your organization, but
Yeah, we think very highly of CJ. I can tell you, you know, one of the reasons that it was, I won't say easy, but easier for us to be patient, and Kyle was making those decisions with Jimmy, was that CJ was playing well in our mind and was improving each and every week. CJ has handled this tremendously well with a tremendous amount of class. It's motivated him to become even better, to continue working on his craft. And we love his makeup, what he's all about. You know, my message to him: become the next Jimmy Garoppolo. Become, you know, you keep playing well, good things will happen for you, and he understands that. I think, having been around football in his family, and congratulations to his grandfather for his induction into the Hall. Really happy. I was a Charger fan growing up, and so that's I know CJ's proud of that. But I think that background has prepared him for. There is going to be some adversity. When it looked like things were going so well, that could have been hard for a young man to take, but he responded in the fashion that we thought he would, and I think there's exciting times ahead for C.J. Beathard.
John, what's the outlook for the young guys from last year, George Kittle and Trent Taylor?
Yeah, those are good players, you know, that we got, you know, mid to later rounds, and again, go back to, I really credit Kyle, and you know, they have such a feel for what they want, the position traits, the skills that fit those positions. And so that allowed us to identify some guys like that we knew at the right time we wanted to pull the trigger on, and both those guys developed. I think for George, his talent is pretty unique. You know, I think he's going to continue to have to figure out ways to stay on the field, stay healthy. The injury bug hit him. That does happen with a lot of rookies. It's a long season, but we're very high on him. Trent Taylor has a skill. He can separate. He can get open. And when you have a quarterback like Jimmy that can put it on you, that's a pretty good combination. So we're really excited about both those players. They happen to be roommates, and so that worked out well for us.
Are you going to use Jimmy Garoppolo in free agency maybe as a part of your recruiting?
Would you? Yeah, I am. Yeah, we are. Yes, absolutely.
Does having Jimmy G accelerate your jumpstart your timetable, turn you from a rebuilding team into a competing team?
Listen, like I said, we're very much a work in progress, but our goal is to be a team that competes for championships, and that's why I got into this thing. That's why we got into this thing together. That's what we talk to our players about. But I think the important thing, and what Kyle does a great job, is just focus on what you can control, and that's our effort each and every day to become that team. And so timetables, I'm not going to do that. But yes, having a quarterback, it makes you better. He made us better last year, and we expect that going forward.
John, what we've seen from guys like Lamar last year, what has it done for your value of running backs in the draft as far as how high you could take them? And what do you think of the 2 kids from Georgia?
Yeah, so that whole dynamic of that position, in many people's mind, losing value. But I think much like a quarterback, when there's a great one, it's tough to deal with. I know that from having played defense, and so I think is that changing? I don't know. I think everyone's got their own perspective on that, but that is a position where you can affect the game in a great way. And so, as for the 2 young men at Georgia, both really good football players. I think the coolest thing is that they were both talented, but and great competitors, but they were each other's biggest fans. And so, I think they'll both have bright futures.
John, speaking of the running back position, I guess you told the local media this week that you guys are still talking with Carlos Hyde. Are you still thinking about bringing him back? And if not, what have you seen out of Matt Breida and also Joe Williams?
Yeah, we've had discussions with Carlos, all the way through the season. We haven't been able to come to agreement, but those discussions are ongoing. This is a great opportunity. His representatives down here will continue to talk. I think I kind of yesterday was making a general statement about all our free agents. We have an opportunity, and we will talk to all of them right down to the wire. I wouldn't say anything's imminent there. As for Matt Breida, he was a guy we identified in free agency. I really credit our scouts and our coaching staff for doing that, and he's a good football player. He's made of the right stuff. As for Joe Williams, he got injured last year, but there was a reason we were excited. Now he's got to make that come to fruition on the field. He's got some skills that are unique and explosive, and now he's got to put it together and make it happen.
When you evaluate Lamar Jackson from Louisville, how do you reconcile the fact that you're already in great shape with a young quarterback with the fact that you're still talking about probably the most electrifying athlete in college football?
Yeah. Well, I think that's one thing. While last year maybe it was a primary focus, the quarterback position, I don't think we can just turn a blind eye to the quarterback position. I probably won't be watching those drills as closely as I was this time last year, but we're looking at all these players, and Lamar is a unique athlete, a special athlete, and I'm excited to see what happens with him. I really am.
Somebody who played for John Gruden and also came back into the broadcast, what do you think about getting back in the person, and also how easily do you think he'll be able to get back in?
Yeah, I think it's great for football. I think John's, he brings a lot. He brings a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement. He's tireless in his work ethic. I loved playing for him. It was a short tenure I had with him, I think 2 years. One of those years I was pretty banged up. But I love playing for him, and I think the league's better when he's involved in it. As for the broadcasting element, I'm sure, like my experience, you see the league through a different lens when you're in those buildings. He did games like I did, and you get to go meet with head coaches, you get to go meet with general managers and quarterbacks, and you can really learn a lot if you just listen. And I think John's flirted with this for a long time, and I think he's excited. I've talked to him. He is excited, and I'm just looking forward to competing with him in that coin toss tomorrow. Yeah, I think his success at the quarterback position speaks for itself, and I think everybody has their own opinions, and to each their own how they're looking at someone. But yes, I would say we're evaluating him as a quarterback.
John, last year you made the first big splash of the draft, trading back and letting the Bears come up and take their quarterback. This year you're a little bit further back in that area, the first half of the draft. But is that an opportunity with guys like Lamar Jackson, who might be the end of that top-tier quarterback, where you'd be willing to move back and make a play to get some more value?
Yeah, I think we demonstrated last year. I really felt that I'd be much more conservative in the draft, but some things fell our way. And so I think you always keep an open mind, and sure, we'd certainly be willing and to move around a little bit if some people covet some guys, not only at that position, any other position, unless we feel so strongly about a player that is available at our disposal. So I think I'm not trying to evade the question, but there's so many options, and I think you evaluate all of them. I think through and through. I mean, you can always get better in this league, and we do have some positions that we've targeted that we need to improve on. I think they're fairly obvious as to where they are for some people, and we'll do that. We'll try, as I said earlier, by any means available to us to improve ourselves.
John, how do you, your scouts and coaches, typically use your 15 minutes in prospect?
Yeah. That's the challenge. It's 15 minutes, so how can you be most effective? We try a variety of things. One thing you try to do is break the ice. I think you don't hold it against a kid that he's been coached, because all these kids are coached now. But really the ones that come off the best are the ones that are really authentic and are their true selves and that are honest. And so I think one thing you can do is try to break the ice, with some personal stories, some humor, to try to get them to be themselves. But variety of techniques like other people use, just good old conversation on what's important to them, on why they love the game of football, on things that are important to us that you try to glean from them. We throw film on sometimes, and that's a great avenue to have them explain what they were doing. And you can tell a lot. Some players have instant recall and can tell you not only what their job was, but everybody else on that field what their job. Other guys struggle to communicate that, and so does that really vault up a player or kill a player? Now, you don't want to make your evaluation solely on that, but like everything, it's part of the process.
John, on Smart, what do you think might have worked out for him in San Francisco?
I think he found an environment that, number one, fit his skill set. He's a we have that Leo position, edge rusher, and everyone's looking for an edge rusher. And maybe it was a better fit for him in terms of the scheme. And then I think he just felt comfortable in our culture, in our locker room. And, he played well for us. And, when guys play well and we can see a future for them, we're going to do our best to sign them. And we did a deal that I thought was fair for him and fair for us, and that gives him a lot of upside if he really performs. And we think he has an opportunity to do that. Now it's incumbent upon him, just like every other player, to go make that happen. But we're pleased to have him a part of us moving forward.
Let's do a couple more with John.
He's also a great special teams player. He could play some Sam linebacker, but really we see him as more of as an edge rusher. Yeah, I can tell you we don't have him in our 60 interviews. But I marvel at those guys. But you talk about maybe it being undervalued. I don't know if that's your question, but I think I've watched teams when they lose that guy in game, and it is panic mode. I mean, so it's certainly important. That job and that role is often overlooked, but so critical to a team's success. So it's extremely important, and that's. I'll be watching that guy closely.
All right. Thanks, John.
All right. Thank you.